but they're all good, aren't they? Welcome. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And I'm going to start by telling you I have a very, very smart wife. Very smart wife, okay? And what I'm about to share with you, my wife told me last night, and I'm going to be sharing it with you now in dark MAGA mode, as you can see, as I'm heading to work on a very, very foggy morning. It is a foggy morning, friends. And hold on, I've got to make a change here. I've got to turn off my Wi-Fi. You will not want to miss this, I promise you. And your Bluetooth off, or you won't get any signal. Okay, we are reconnected. Good. All right. Wi-Fi is off, Bluetooth is off, and I am off to work. Okay, let's talk. So, what I'm about to share with you came from my very smart wife. This is a really foggy morning. Holy smokes. Visibility is like not very good. All right, let me get this out. So this is a follow-up to the MAGA wars that have been going on really since Thursday, and here we are on Tuesday. And there's been all this division. Elon, Vivek, Loomer, Prosobic, a whole bunch of others, right? It's even continuing. Laura Loomer was on the War Room with Steve Bannon yesterday, and they were really getting into some stuff here that, you know, I'm not going to cover right now, but I want to talk about what's going on. So this is what my wife realized yesterday, and it just really explained so much of what is going on. There's so many people that fit in this label that I'm not a big fan of, but it's the label influencer. Influencer. You know, there's Twitter influencers, there's YouTube influencers. I'm on every platform there is. I'm an influencer. Although with this thick fog, oh my goodness. I wish I could influence this fog to go away. And some people are very much, very loyal to their particular platform. And this MAGA war thing that began was all through X, Twitter. Elon Musk's X, Elon Musk's Twitter. And there are a lot of people that are well-known and influential in the MAGA world that really are almost solely on X or Twitter, whatever it is you want to call it. And what I do is on Twitter, because, you know, here I am on YouTube, I'm on the radio, I'm on all the podcast platforms, but what I primarily do on Twitter are post news stories on my feed. You know, I read the news all day, and mainly what I do is post my news stories. That it's my stack of stuff, as Rush Limbaugh used to say. My show prep is my Twitter feed. Almost every story I read, whether I talk about it or not, because there's only so many hours I have to talk on my different platforms, I post to X, and I go through my feed for my show prep there. But what most people do that are Twitter people, wow, if this doesn't clear up, soon, this fog, I'm going to be late to work. What most people do that are solely Twitter people is not that. They stir up things. They call people out. They find other people on Twitter that have tweeted things and go after it. And before Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X, when it was run by leftists, there was a lot of fighting between the left and the right on Twitter. And it was an unfair fight because Twitter was run by these leftists that would deplatform people constantly that were conservative. I don't know of any high-profile liberals that got deplatformed on Twitter. And cancel culture that we experienced over the past few years almost was 100% through Twitter. Things would start on Twitter, and then people would get canceled. And Bill O'Reilly coined a phrase that picked up. He called it the Twitter mob. The Twitter mob. So, Elon Musk bought Twitter, turned it into X, as you all know. And since President Trump's great and glorious, historic, miracle re-election, liberals, the few liberals that were left on X, have fled. They're pretty much gone. They really are, if you think about it. You know, and some of them are still there, but they don't engage much, right? Like Stephen King, Rob Reiner, you know, all these big mouth lefties aren't really engaging on X anymore. So this is what my wife came up with, and I think she is so spot on. And you can let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree with what I'm about to share with you as I'm driving on this very foggy road with very minimal visibility. With the liberals gone from X, the influencers that are almost solely Twitter X influencers, the only thing they know how to do, I'm not saying they're not MAGA, I'm not accusing them of that, but their style, their format, whatever it is that they do, is based on attacking these leftists on X. Well, with the left gone on X, what's happened is we have this Lord of the Flies situation where they're fighting amongst themselves now. Since there aren't any liberals to go after, they're going after each other because that's what they know how to do. And that in large part started this MAGA war that's been going on for the last few days. Now, the MAGA wars died down a lot, but there are still some holdouts, okay, that are stirring crap up. But that's what's going on. And we've got a lot of infighting going on in the MAGA movement, and it really has got to stop. It's got to stop. People need to move on. Now, you know, we're still in a holiday period, right? New Year's is this week. This week is a very major holiday week. A lot of the people are off. The news is slow. If you put on the cable news, you're seeing people in anchor chairs that you may never have seen before. You're seeing the third team is on the air right now because it's a slow news period. The news is down. You know, after the first of the year, things are going to start to happen because at some point, President Trump is going to leave Mar-a-Lago. He's going to head to Washington, and as he prepares for Inauguration Day. And then on Inauguration Day, he's going to immediately start signing executive orders, and things are going to happen. So I'm hoping some other news will develop that'll get the Twitter mob, the X mob, back unified. But I think that my wife is very much correct when she points out that they're now fighting amongst themselves, because that's the format of Twitter is calling people out and fighting with other people on Twitter, responding to their tweets. And with the left gone, and it becoming a MAGA place. If you're one of these big Twitter influencers, now you got to start attacking your own. That's exactly what's happening. Now, a lot of people got egos and everything else, so they can't dial things back because of that. There's a lot of axes to grind that people have that's going on lately, you know. But the move to push Elon out of Trump's orbit still continues, and it's happening by some MAGA people as well as the left. There's a story on Mediaite today. It came out yesterday that Elon Musk is renting a $2,000 a night, bungalow or suite at Mar-a-Lago. That's where he's been staying. It's very close to Trump's private residence. And there's an article in Mediaite that Trump's tired of him being there and wants him out. I don't believe that at all. But that's what they're, if you notice, there's non-stop stories that revolve around trying to split Trump and Elon Musk up. That is the worst thing that could happen right now. We do not want that to happen. We don't want these guys split up. They're doing great work. Low beams during the fog over here, guy. Lots of fog. I mean, the visibility is really low. This is awful. Luckily, it's dark. Hopefully, if everybody has their lights on their car, it'll be nice, because this is a very dark highway. I'm on a 4-lane highway heading north. The southbound lane, there's a big median in between, so I'm not worried about that. But this fog is bad. So that's what's going on. The format of Twitter is fighting with people on Twitter. And, wow. And the people that are on Twitter all the time that are conservative, that don't have liberals to go after anymore, are starting to go after other conservatives, because that's pretty much all that's left on X. That's it. And they're becoming the new Twitter mob. And it just becomes a cycle. It's a lot of times people get wrapped up in issues, and it's hard for them to move on from an issue. A lot of times people that are in media, and I've had this happen to me when I was less experienced. I'm careful to not allow this to happen now, but sometimes people that are in media, they'll get a good run on a particular story or a topic. So they'll start doing the same thing, variations of it, over and over again, or updates on it. And they can't move on because they're always looking for that big glory, that big attention they got when they first did that story. I see this happen a lot on YouTube. There's one guy who, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, maybe less, did a video on, and it went viral. Small channel. He had about 10,000 or so subs, and he did a video that got over 1 million views. And that's huge for anybody, but especially someone that has like 10, 12,000 subs, right? So we did a couple of follow-ups, and a couple of them broke that 1 million views. And then they started going down. He's gained a lot of subs. He's got like 60 to 70,000 subs now. But his views are not that anymore. They're more normal to reflect his subscriber size. But every week or so, he tries to redo that video that went viral that got him over 1 million views a couple years ago, and it always fizzles out. He's always going back to that. And I'm not going to say who I'm talking about because they're a very drama-filled YouTuber. I don't want to get involved in their drama. But that's what happens to a lot of people that are in the news business, on social media. So there's some of that going on too. So there's other factors. I've been talking about it the last few days with the MAGA wars, but overall, we get a couple of good stories coming out, and it'll die off. But there's offshoots that feed it. Like a lot of MAGA people are upset that President Trump endorsed Mike Johnson for Speaker. This is what people don't get. You hear people think they're calling me out when they bring this up. I say every single day, I say, we've got to trust Trump. Okay? Trump is going to do things that you may not like. He's going to bring people into the mix and back people that you may not like, that I may not like. But we've got to trust in Trump. He has 4 short years to solidify the MAGA movement. And whether or not you like Mike Johnson or I like Mike Johnson, President Trump has endorsed him, and we've got to back President Trump. This is the worst fog I've driven in years. This is really bad. Later this, I've been talking, I'm going to start broadcasting from my home studio on the radio a few days a week. And my first day that I'm doing that is later this week. And I wish that I was set up to do it today, because if this is the day I don't want to be on the road. I mean, I can see when I'm coming up to a vehicle, I can see the red taillights, but barely. I just hope this isn't all the way. Without the sun out to burn the fog up. Sucks. Hate this. But no, this infighting has got to stop. I mean, you've got to trust that Trump knows what he's doing. If you can't trust Trump, who can you trust? Think about that. If you cannot trust Trump, who can you possibly trust? President Trump has endorsed Mike Johnson. And Mike Johnson didn't come through on the on this budget, this Biden budget that just went through, and no one's happy about that. I mean, where are the impeachments against Biden and everything? But, Mike Johnson, there's no question Mike Johnson has let us down time and time again. But President Trump endorsed him. So we got to go along with that. I'm sorry. And you hear people call, even MAGA people will say to me, you can't ever disagree with Trump, you're a stooge, you're a puppet. I'm not a stooge or a puppet. Trump is the captain of our ship right now for the next 4 years. We've got to, he sees a picture that we don't see. Trump endorsed Mike Johnson. He had a very good reason for endorsing Mike Johnson. And we may never know what that is. But we've got to back. Oh, good. The fog is cleared up where I'm at. Great. But there's a lot of traffic here because people have been driving so slow through the fog. They've all kind of bunched up here. We've got to trust Trump that he had a very good reason to endorse Mike Johnson. And based on what he knows that we are not privy to, he did it for whatever reason. We've got to trust that. That's it. You know, and I've seen two things said in the last few days that are just bizarre, okay? There's a lot of people saying MAGA isn't Trump. It's okay to disagree with Trump. MAGA is not Trump. Trump is MAGA, okay? It is his movement. Trump is MAGA. And I haven't seen him do anything that goes against MAGA. Another thing I heard a discussion of, which is very bizarre, you know, in this MAGA war thing that's going on. I was watching last night the quartering here on YouTube. Any of you watch the quartering on YouTube? And on the quartering on YouTube, he was talking about this new term that is starting to pick up called woke MAGA. They're starting to call some people woke MAGA. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means. Do they mean that there are MAGA people that, because they support Elon or something, that means you're woke? I don't know what that means, but this woke MAGA label, and that started on X as well. This division and infighting has got to stop. You know, one of the reasons we were so successful in re-electing our great President Trump is that we've been united. And we have to be, you know, we have one voice with Trump. That's what'll get things done. There's also a lot of people impatient, you know, because people want Trump president already, and we've got 3 weeks. That's just the way it is. We got to wait till the 20th. He's not the president yet. He's wielding a lot of influence, but he doesn't have official authority yet. So, you know, we got to be patient. He's making deals with people. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe if you're new. And if you're already subbed, if you could do me the favor of liking the video, I'd appreciate that. Wow, I'm glad to have gotten out of that fog. That was not fun, guys. Not fun at all. Whew. Slowed me down a lot. I was driving so slow. Yeah, Mike Johnson seems very weak. I agree, but Trump endorsed him. You know, Trump's making deals that we don't know about. And I haven't seen President Trump do anything to violate his promises. You know, they're working so hard against him on the left. You know, one of the stories I'm going to talk about today to illustrate this, okay? I got a call from a liberal yesterday. You know, and what liberals have usually are talking points that they pick up off of liberal media. And this guy, he called me yesterday and he said Trump did an interview and he said he's not going to bring the grocery prices down. And I said, well, I missed that interview. Where was it at? This was on yesterday's morning show. And he said, you know, the interview he did with the lady. And I'm like, the lady? So I went, you know, he didn't know. He just had some talking point that he picked up from somewhere on television. He even was trying to Google it on his phone and he couldn't find it. And the reason he couldn't find it is that it didn't happen. So I tweeted a couple stories that the talking point was taken from. President Trump, you know, in his interview with Time Magazine for the, you know, the Man of the Year, they asked him about the grocery prices. And he said, it's going to be hard to bring them down. He says, once prices go up, it's difficult to bring them down. But we're going to lower fuel cost, and that's going to bring the price down of everything. That's it. He didn't say he wasn't going to bring prices down. He didn't say that he couldn't. He says it's difficult. Remember what President Kennedy said? We go to the moon and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they're hard. Right? That's what President Kennedy said. That's all Trump's saying. But that's become a talking point that the left are promoting, that Trump says he's not going to bring grocery prices down. He didn't say anything like that. Ugh. But the fact that we're getting talking points, and there's other talking points the left have had, the fact that we're getting talking points is an indicator that the never Trumpers and the left are regrouping and starting to make moves against Trump. That's fine, let them. I don't mind combating their liberal talking point garbage. Like yesterday, I got another call from a liberal lady from Baltimore. I forgot her name. She called me on the radio yesterday. You might have heard it on YouTube, and she says, this is another one of their talking points. Aren't you concerned that an elitist like Elon Musk has so much influence over President Trump? Right? Remember she said that to me? And I said to her, what has Elon Musk gotten President Trump to do that he would not have done otherwise? What about Elon Musk is elitist that you're concerned about? And she didn't have any answers for these questions. You know, I've been dealing with this since I've been doing this. Liberals have these talking points, and they change over the years. They change with the times. But when you start to question them about their talking points, it always falls apart. Because they don't think beyond the talking points. Talking to a liberal with talking points is like trying to have a conversation with a telemarketer who calls you with a script. It's very similar. But, you know, that's how they roll. That's how they roll. What a day. That fog was scary. When I left home and I saw how thick that fog was, I almost turned around. It was that thick. You know, you don't want to drive in fog if you don't have to. It's very dangerous. People drive too fast in it. They can't see what's ahead of them. They think they can. And boom. You just got to drive slow and keep your eyes on the road. But it's best not to drive in it. So that's a little summary of what's going on. And I'm going to cover that and all that in much more detail on the next stream at 6 and take your calls. And I'm going to be live all week. So even New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I'm going to be live because and Friday because I'm taking 2 days off this month. Well, not this month, January, which is almost here. I'm taking 2 days off in January to go visit my daughter in Los Angeles, in California, in California. And so since I'm taking 2 days off in January, I'm going to work all this week. Wow. What a day. Driving in that fog. Scary, scary stuff. Scary stuff. Oh, sirens ahead. Uh-oh. Someone getting a ticket. But this, when I see people on social media saying Trump's not MAGA, I'm like, what? Who are these people? How could someone? That's like saying Jesus isn't Christian or Jesus isn't a Jew. To say that Trump isn't MAGA, that's insane to me. And I've seen a lot of people say that. Not people that I know, unfamiliar names. So I don't know if they're fake MAGA. I don't know if they're never Trumpers. I don't know if they're Democrats. But this idea that people are saying that Trump isn't MAGA, that's just stupid. There are some things that people say that just make no sense. Like, a lot of people say something that they don't realize. You ever hear anybody say Jewish rabbi? Is there another kind of rabbi other than a Jewish rabbi that I don't know about? You just say rabbi, right? I was surprised. The first person I saw on social media say Trump isn't MAGA or MAGA's bigger than Trump. And I'm like, okay, idiot. And then I see it picking up steam. What? I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Does not even make a lick of sense. People still have their Christmas. You guys still have your Christmas decorations up? We still have our tree up. We're going to take everything down this weekend. I got to do some organizing of the garage to store all that stuff. We usually have it down the day after Christmas, but we left it up a little longer. But you can really see the push by both conservatives and the left to try to get Elon Musk out of the mix. Why? Why? That's insane. Not only is he the richest man in the world that so many millions have respect for, there are, I think the three most famous men in the world are Donald Trump, Putin, and Elon Musk. He's one of the three most famous and influential people in the whole world. And he's MAGA. Why would you not want that guy on our side? Have some second-rate person. That's insane. Who also controls the most influential news platform in the world, X. Right? It's crazy. It's like in the 60s and the 70s having Walter Cronkite on our side. Even bigger than that, really. Well, guys, I've reached my destination, so I'm going to sign off. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next stream, guys.